Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I am Primetime 000, joined by Matt and Dan. How you guys doing?
Well, I'm in the AFC. I'm doing pretty good.
Saturday, yeah. If you're in the NFC, you'd be the one seed.
Guys, it's playoff time is ramping up here, just a few days away. This season has flown by, in my opinion. Let's get right to it. First down, I kind of started an initiative, and I think some other things have been brought up because of it, but the unwritten rule thing has become a big topic in chat with field goal blocks, with other things, obviously, throughout many cycles. What's your thoughts on maybe unwritten rules or the field goal block thing? Maybe we could put the nail in the coffin on a couple of these topics. And Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I suppose I'm probably the best place to start on this one. So for field goal blocks, I don't think I've ever tried to block a field goal since I've been in the SML. In Madden, I think it's absolutely the dumbest feature, button, whatever you want to call it, that they have, because it's one of the few things that the kicking team has no counter for. Yes, you could previously hold the button, you could hold X, but the play clock would I think the play clock would stop when you did that, so the team knew you were holding it. They still were just mashing the button trying to get animation, so it was somewhat of a counter, but it didn't do anything to prevent it. In my opinion, the easy fix here is, if you get, and I don't know if they even do this with the new kick meter, but back in the day, you used to be able to get, the screen would say perfect if you did everything perfect. That should have made the kick unblockable. That would add a skill to the kicking team that, if they executed it, would make it so their field goal couldn't get blocked. Now that we can't even hold the X button, you just have dudes, I would imagine, jamming a button on their controller, trying to get the animation, and then they come in and they either block it or they don't. And in my opinion, in my experience, people don't even get roughing versus me if they miss the animation. They just dive and fall on the ground and miss it. So I haven't even seen a penalty. I've never seen anyone go offsides because of it. So I don't know if by jamming the button, if you're increasing your offsides chance. I haven't seen it. Now, yes, you could go for 2 every time. Sure, okay, that's kind of dumb, but the fourth down rules prevent you from faking a field goal to get around it, so there's no penalty there if the person knows you can't go for it. So I don't like the idea of field goal blocks. I'm all on the side of the old adage, field goals are too easy. We were hitting 70-yarders like they were nothing. This is my only counter to that. That's actually a really good point. Those days are gone, though. The kicking is harder. So they're okay because, again, like a lot of the unwritten rules, they're unwritten. You play by the rules, you're okay in my book. I don't care what you do. If it's running with the quarterback, if it's running a bunch of trips, if it's running a bunch of stretches, all the motion stuff that they've added this year, we can all complain about those and talk about them, but they're within the rules, and as long as you play within the rules, you're fine. So, but I just hate field goal blocks. Sorry, I knew I would go off on a tangent. I'll shut up.
I respect Matt. Dan, what do you think, buddy?
No, Matt's 100% right on the field goal blocks, and the thing that annoys me most of all is I play this game not only just to play the game, but we could do that offline. You could do that CPU. I do this to play against other people, and there's no strategic move, as Matt said, to counter it, and so it just feels like you work hard to get into field goal range, and you kick a field goal. You want to go up, say you want to go up 2 scores. All of a sudden, they get a block. Now they're in perfect position to go win the game, and they didn't do anything other than smash buttons. So yeah, I'm 100% with Matt on that. I am fully anti field goal block, all field goal safe from here on out. I have seen my errors and have repented of my ways. What I want to say more, though, is the unwritten rules. And again, I want to really respect Matt on this, because Matt is a guy that has a certain way to play his game, and he'll play that game, but he doesn't expect the other player to play that same way. And that is the key with the unwritten rules. For me, I hate when someone calls a pass play the same pass play in a game. Okay. You got a nice pass play you like, you try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, okay. You didn't work that game. You don't run it again. That's my view. That's my unwritten rule. But if someone else does it to me, I can't get upset, because that's not That's not against the rules. I can't put my unwritten rules on somebody else to play a way that I want them to play because I have some version of unwritten rules. So I think in all these things, whether it's again running with the quarterback or motion plays or spamming, well, what we would call spamming, but not against the rules, certain things, you can't place that upon somebody else unless it's breaking the rules. And the rules are the things that hold us all accountable to how we should play, not the unwritten rules.
Yeah, I think that's all very good stuff there. And for the field goal block thing, for me, I've I've kind of beat the drum on the quote. You could search it in Discord. Most things are fine in moderation, and I take that with field goal blocks as well. I think that if you look in Neon with guys who have kicked more than 10 field goals this season, there is 15 kickers with over a 90% field goal percentage. The thought of kicks being harder is gone now this year. People have adapted to the new kicking system. It's much, people are like, Tiny hit like 450 plus yarders against me. It's like kicks are easy again now for people. I think that blocks are really the only way to negate that. I do wish, Matt's got a great point, they did have it in the game where if you hit a perfect accuracy kick, it would prevent blocks. For whatever reason, they took it out. There are other exploits in the game, such as rushing with the defensive tackle, that makes it more likely to block a kick. The SML has banned things like that to try to help with the field goal block situation. However, I think looking at it from a league perspective, I don't think we could just completely take out blocks. Now there are some ideas.
So what's moderation with you though, Prime? What's moderation? If you
Well,
block one field goal, are you gonna not try anymore?
so great question. So for me, I try to not block extra points. I usually just go off and I might look like I'm going to block it and then I'll go cover for a fake is kind of my thing. But that's my thing. That's not a league thing. And I think that's where you have to be careful on, like you said, for the unwritten rule thing. And it's almost like a personal pet peeve thing. Bomber doesn't like when people run out of shotgun a lot. That's his pet peeve. Now, an unwritten rule might be, hey, there is a written rule that says you can't abuse similar concepts. So, yeah, if the guy's doing 90% of the time, that's probably a rule violation. But if the guy's 3rd and 7 and he comes out of the shotgun and runs an inside zone and picks up a first down, it might piss off Bomber because that's kind of a popular play. But at the same time, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's actually kind of smart because he was probably playing nickel or dime defense and he committed pass. So, to me, I think that we're all kind of guilty of it in a way where, like you said, what's the league standard? What isn't maybe articulated properly in the rule book, but is still frowned upon? Certain play calls, play action, certain points, different things. KP actually had a great article a couple of weeks ago, and it was like a resignation letter about unwritten rules. And he goes in there and he literally listed out my thoughts way more articulately than I ever could of unwritten rules. And I'll go ahead and I'll relink it in the description of this video. And he pretty much says, I'm gonna resign from the off the menu things are still rolling out immediately, doing all these different things. But hey, you know what? I'm not gonna feel bad if I call a couple shotgun runs in the game. There's some people who completely stopped it. They completely stopped it, and I feel like that's way left because of it. So to me, most things are fine in moderation. And if you have a question, ask, or if you think it might be a little cheesy, don't do it. I mean, it's common sense still needs to prevail in a lot of these situations.
I think it's great that we're kind of pushing back on it, which is wonderful. I just would, back to field goal blocks. Man, if I block 2 field goals in a playoff game, I'd be embarrassed for myself. I'd kind of resign from the SML. I wouldn't probably even look at my wife anymore. I wouldn't even kind of exist anymore. So,
Well, here's a good.
if I was that kind of guy and would block 2 field goals in a playoff game and feel good about it, yeah, I don't even know if I could look myself in the mirror.
That's a great point because I blocked 2 of your kicks for those who don't remember, and
and still lost in overtime.
And I still lost. But how did I lose though? There was a play where it was like, what was it, like 3rd and 18, and you threw an incompletion on like a crossing route, and it was kind of like the same thing that happened to you versus, I think it was Gutta or whoever you were playing, and the guy stopped, and then you click the pass interference. In my eyes, it's like, at what point do we say, okay, it's a video game and just random animations are going to happen? Because to me, there's no skill in blocking it. It's totally random. And a holding call is what? It's kind of totally random. We don't, pass interference, totally random. It's the animation. Missing a pass is what?
Yeah.
It's like, so at what point do we say, hey, you know what? It's just kind of how the game plays, and we have to deal with it. And if somebody's trying to abuse something to an extent, maybe we have to look into making a rule. But we just have to kind of go by the numbers a little bit. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation for sure. I've talked enough. Let's move on. What do you guys make of the playoff races? Specific, it's really tight in the NFC, like all the way through, and the AFC's tight in different spots. I think the 7 seed's tight, the 1 seed's tight. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, NFC, you just have to join the league and be in the NFC, and then you're in the NFC playoff race. I mean, it's kind of wild. I think the last I looked at it, there's 6 or 7 teams with a still a shot to get into the playoffs, and we're 2 weeks out, which is wild to me. What's wild on the AFC side is the fact that you've got, we don't know who the 1, 2, or 3 seed is going to 2 weeks into it. I mean, we've got 3 teams sitting there with 2 losses, and you got Bomber right behind them that plays. I think he plays me and you, so
Yeah,
he could make some noise. So it's just, again, one of the cool things about the SML is that you don't have just the so-called boring regular season play or regular seasons, and all of a sudden just because you're in the AFC, you're automatically going to be the 1 seed every year. You're fighting for it with multiple people. So we go into the last few games. Now you've got questions like, who's going to rest starters? Is it worth it to push for a 1 seed? Is it worth it to try to get everything you got to get that 1 seed, and then you lose somebody? I mean, I just lost TJ Watt. So I think, again, every year we say this, but it's so true. The SML gets better and better because of the level of competition, and from top to bottom, we've got quality owners, at least on the AFC side.
Yeah, the NFC. I've really tried not to crack jokes and at them and take shots, but every time someone posts the /playoffs or whatever, and it posts both conferences playoff rankings, like the veins start busting out of my forehead and my neck of like, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, and then I type a message because I can't help it. It's so funny. But the NFC, I mean, I think there's literally only 2 people that are eliminated, and that's Steven and Paulie. I think everyone, without doing tiebreakers, literally everyone else is still in the hunt, because the 7 and the 8 seed, and they all have 8 losses. So like someone like Mike, who has 10 losses, technically could get to 7 and 10, and these other guys could fall to 7 and 10, and it's tiebreakers. So you've got 2 divisions in the NFC that don't even have a team over 500. The entire NFC West is 7 and 8. The entire NFC South, their best record is 7 and 8. These divisions don't. I mean, Dom was gone for a while, so that probably would have been different, but still, the NFC is just wild. I will say, though, I think it's good for the league. I think it's good for the league that there's nobody in the NFC that really stands out, because it is literally anybody's game. You've got Fig fighting for a shot, man. What if Fig gets in? And he's playing really well. He's leading the league in passing. Jamison Williams, he's got his dynamite speedster. That Lions team is really good. We all knew whoever got that Lions team, it was only going to get better. So, I mean, I don't know. I love the NFC. I love to give them crap, but I think it's the most exciting, just because it could be anybody's game. On the AFC, it's exciting for a different reason, and kind of sad, because guys are going to miss playoffs, like someone like AJ, who's probably going to miss the playoffs, but would be the 2 or 3 seed in the NFC. So that's kind of a bummer. But hey, man, you got 3 teams at 13 and 2. You got a 12 and 3 team that's the 5 seed. You got 6 teams with 10 or more wins. You're going to have more than that by the time it's all said and done. So the AFC is going to beat each other up, though. And whoever comes out of there is going to have a black eye. Their legs are going to be weak. They're going to walk into the octagon. They're going to have the scar tissue. They're going to bleed easy. So the NFC's just got to win that one game, right? So even though we make fun of the NFC, it is totally possible that whoever comes out of there can win the Super Bowl. Because they're going to get a weakened AFC opponent. So I'm excited, man. The playoffs in the SML are always a good time. Yeah,
and I know it hasn't worked out for me this cycle. I had the number 1 seed both seasons so far, but that's kind of why I pushed so hard for that number 1 seed in the AFC each regular season so far, is because I feel like anybody could beat anybody. Like if you get the number 2 seed right now, you're going to play Doink, or you're going to play the Chiefs, or you might end up playing Matt or QB Stud. Like all those guys are Super Bowl champions, except for AJ. Sorry, AJ, you can still change oil, probably very good, but still, that's a tough conference. And then you got Dan and you got QP and Meats. He's not that good, but you don't want to lose to him, and that adds a different kind of pressure. And you got Bomber, a champion, and Gutta. So a very tough conference there. And then Damon didn't even make it. Bean is wherever Bean's at. So and it could get tougher is the point. Looking at the NFC, I find it fascinating because guys, there's some legends in the SML who could make a run at this conference. Fig, SML legend. NYT, SML legend. Dom, SML legend. These guys could all SML OGs at this point could find a way to make a run at this conference and make the Super Bowl. The number 1 seed is 10-5. It's Soda. Grimm's 9-5. It's just anybody's game. One person I'm a little disappointed in is KP. He's 9-5. I kind of thought when he was going to join that conference, I thought he was bar none going to be the guy, and he hasn't been so far. Obviously, Dump has, he left the league for a while. He's back now. Maybe he's going to step in. But he doesn't have his Bears anymore, so that could be a big deal. But, I thought KP was going to do more than he has, and maybe he'll step up. But KP hasn't impressed me.
He's won 8 in a row. Okay, so whatever his start was, he was 1-5 maybe to start. Now he's won 8 in a row. So. I think he's figured things out. Don't be surprised if KP doesn't come out of this.
He hasn't figured anything out. He went from playing the AFC to playing the NFC. He didn't figure anything out.
And KP's
fair point.
And KP's first, he lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. 4 of them were the AFC, and then he went on a streak, like you said, Dan, of 8 games in a row, and only one AFC team. It was the Patriots trick. I do play him next advance, so I got to be careful. Let's realize that. I was just looking at the schedule. I got to be careful with what I'm saying here. KP's a great guy. Very good.
I take back what I said. He's got it all figured out.
He's got it all figured out, man. Let's move on. 3rd down. Let's call out a member. We're all cheerful and joyful, spreading love on people. Who do you want to call out? Whether it's about a chat thing, whether it's about a gameplay thing, or whatever. Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I hope I took this the way it was intended. But I kind of took someone from each conference. I'm going to start in the NFC. I'm going to go with Paulie. Look, man, this guy was in the lab before it started. I know he had 30 hours at least before we even started the league. I had 29 hours when I faced Dump in the Super Bowl when I booted up. He put in the time. I watch him play. He runs a lot of the stuff that you see a lot of the other good players run. But it's not doing anything. He went to the NFC. He thought by taking the Giants, he would leave those other good teams there for some bad owners to come into. Straw hasn't turned out to be what we thought he was going to be. And Paulie is not doing anything. He just got absolutely flooded by Straw. He's going to have a really good pick going into the offseason. And, can he get his quarterback? Paulie, you got to figure it out. Football's over. You just won the title. Your ciders that you were drinking are out of your system. It's time, Paulie. This is your conference. You need to take it over. Stavo hasn't done it. Dump is back and not doing it. We just talked about KP. You need to take over this conference starting next season. And then I'm going to go back over to the AFC, and I'm going to go right in my home, right? QB stud. I stuck my neck out in the first poll of the season 1. I said QB stud's going to win the Super Bowl. I think I was the only person that voted him. Wow. Season 2, QB stud is going to win the Super Bowl. I think I gave up this season. I think I pivoted. But look, he's got Joe freaking Burrow. Let me just talk about his abilities. Inside Deadeye, perfect accuracy on passes inside the numbers, as long as they're not high-low. Sideline Deadeye, perfect accuracy outside the numbers. So inside the numbers and outside the numbers. I think that's the entire football field. Red zone Deadeye, perfect accuracy on all unpressured throws inside the red zone. So inside the numbers, outside the numbers, and in the red zone, if it's unpressured. But he has Fearless, which it makes him immune to defensive pressure when his feet are set in the pocket. So I think that negates the unpressured in the red zone. And then he's got set feet lead. We know what that can do. And then he's got run and gun as an X factor, which gives him perfect accuracy on the run. If you could pick your abilities, create your quarterback, assign the abilities, you would just assign yourself Joe Burrow. It's time for QB stud. to make a name in the AFC. We saw what Dump did with this team. Now QB has not had the dev luck or the training dev bump luck, but I don't think Dump drafted well. Don't forget that. Dump drafted well. He constructed this team well. QB's already shipped out Higgins. I'm pretty sure Dump kept him. It's time, QB. Figure it out. You are a champion. You are a multi-team champion. You were once a threat in this league. You're now at 500. Figure it out, man. You've got the blueprint. Just figure it out.
That's good, Dan.
Nice. Yeah, I got two on either side, and you kind of took one of them, but I got different reasons for the NFC, and I got Paulie and Steven. Paulie and Steven, you got important games. I don't know if you quite realize this in week 17 and 18. Both of you play Woods. Both of you have a chance to keep the defending champion out of the playoffs. I wanted to tell you how important that is, that those games should not be games that you look at to say, I'm going to tank it. I need to get a draft pick. In fact, if either of you two win those games, I promise to you, I will be in your corner for the draft and for all of next season. I will give you every tip, everything I've learned, everything I know. I just need one of you two to win one of those games, Paulie and Stephen M. We have to take down Woods. He must not make the playoffs.
Wow.
Okay. AFC side. It's as simple as this. It's prime. Win a playoff game. I'm tired of hearing your talk in main chat about your trade. I'm tired of hearing about your regular season record. I'm tired of hearing about all your past glory. We are moving into season 3, and you have a chance to win your first playoff game. You better win the playoff game this year. I don't even need you to make the Super Bowl because I don't think you're that good yet. Okay. I still think you've got some things you got to clean up. I think you're way too predictable. I think you feast off of bad opponents. But here's what you need to at least win a playoff game. Show up, no more talk, and prove yourself that you are actually still prime time 0-0-0.
It's good. I'll rebuttal that in a second. NFC. I want to start off. Stavo. Dude, you're 7-8 and you're winning the division right now. Like, you chose this division because you thought it was going to be easy. And my boy NYT is about to win that division. That's pretty cool to see. I think NYT can pull it off. I want to call out Stavo by saying, dude, like, what is going on? NYT, keep the foot on the gas. D-Muse, keep the foot on the gas. You're so close. Fig, we're watching you. We are watching you, Fig. 6-9. You have hope. I'm impressed by some of these guys who aren't giving up. Null Overlord, 7-8. Literally, listen to this. NFC West, Rams, 7-8. Seahawks, 7-8. 49ers, 7-8. Cardinals, 7-8. That is the closest division ever in SML history of all time ever. I don't care. I don't need meets. I've never seen that through what is that? 15 games. Every team is 7-8. That's crazy. That division is going to be fun to watch. I just want to give them a shout out. AFC side of things, I would like to see. I have 2 challenges. Doink, the same challenge Dan gave to me, I'm going to give to you. No set feet lead this cycle. I want to see you get to an AFC championship game. Maybe not this season, but I want to see you make strides to that. You made the big kahuna trade and you got your quarterback. I don't think he got the abilities that you quite wanted, but your team is ready to win, in my opinion. The other person I want to shout out real quick, Bomber. You're 12-3. This is probably the best I've seen Bomber play over a stretch of time in a long time. I think he's primed to win a couple playoff games. I want to see Bomber get back to a Super Bowl. This season, I'm not sure. I want to see Bomber win 2 playoff games. So I want to see Bomber in the AFC Championship game. He's got the team and he's got ready to do it. As for Dan's comment, I wasn't going to take any shots at Dan today. I thought I was going to play nice, but now I can't play nice. Listen, Dan, here's the deal. You said I haven't beat anybody good. I beat QP. I think he's pretty good. I beat Matt. I think he's pretty good. I beat Woods, who's the defending Super Bowl champion. I beat Grim, who is the number 2 seed. I beat Straw, who's in the playoff picture. I beat QB Stud, who's in the playoff picture. I beat Meats, who's the number 4 seed. I got KP and Bomber coming up, and I only have 2 losses right now. I mean, what else do you want to see from me? I'm going to win a playoff game. Not only this, Dan, and I'll say this right now, right here, and I'll say this with conviction, and I'll say this with no showboating, no trying to sell tickets or nothing. I am so confident that I'm going to win the Super Bowl this season with Nick Godfrey because you let your kid trade Nick Godfrey to me. you could take it to the bank. I don't care what you
What?
want, to say. I don't care. I will win the
That's your
Super
big
Bowl.
statement.
I
Take
will.
it to the bank.
You can
What
100% take it to the bank.
what is this? Take it to the bank,
You
please.
you're like you say prime. You haven't won a playoff game, dude. You haven't even been in the Super Bowl either. At the end of the day, we're both losers right now. We both are.
Hey, you know how we judge it. It's all Sombardies, but when
Yep.
neither of us have Sombardies, we got to look at what's next. And right now, I know that you've been one seed 2 seasons in a row with 0 playoff wins. You know for a fact if that was Stavo, you'd be all over Stavo. So you're going into this playoffs feeling all the pressure in the world. And hey, if I were you, I'd actually even purposely maybe not try to be the 1 seed
Oh
just to get
yeah,
that
just so to
monkey
get
off your
Dan the
back,
number one
just
seed.
to get that
Yeah.
monkey off your back, just because you maybe hey maybe you'll set up a game versus Meats or versus somebody else that you feel a little bit more confident get that first one rolling. I get that, but right now, I mean, you have as many playoff wins as I don't know who we got to pick on Gilbert right now. You have as many playoff wins as Gilbert this season, so
Here's
or this cycle.
the reality is though, if let's say I win my playoff game or I win 2 playoff games, I beat Meats or I beat Gutta or somebody. What's the comment going to be next? Oh well, it was just Meats, or it's just like when I was undefeated in season 1, and it
No,
was
no,
you were
no,
gonna
no.
be
I'll
you were
give you.
gonna you were already prepping the narrative. It wasn't going to be as good as winning a season 2 or season 3 perfect season. I mean, it's nonstop. I'm going to win this
If you
season,
if
and if you better play me in the AFC Championship game is all I got to say. I'm going to be there.
Listen, I would promise you, if I do play you, if with however the seating works out, I am 100% going to win that game without a doubt.
All right, we'll see.
Hey, I was shining my Simbardi. Did I miss anything? Just got back.
Yeah. Screw you,
Is
Matt.
good. I'm honestly I'm as confident as I've ever been now with Nick Godfrey. Dan, thank you. Damon, thank you. Thank you to the whole family. You guys are a very giving family. I know that. Thank you so much.
Hey, if you actually win, I've been on record saying that it was a good trade. Right now, you gave up way too much for something that isn't as important as it was in the years past.
Dude, look at the stats. Looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, I could care less what you're doing in the regular season against bums that don't know how to shoot over the top.
Oh, ask that to QP. Look back at that game. How did that game end?
Yeah, how many catches did he have? What
Like,
happened in the game that he played me? He caught one pass and it was a
why do
jet
you think?
sweep.
Why do you think that is?
One pass.
Why do you
One
think you only
pass,
caught
jet
one
sweep.
pass?
Because it doesn't matter because you don't know how to use them.
No, there's a reason why, but I'll tell you after we play the
Yeah.
AFC Championship game.
Right.
And then look at the
Right.
stats in that
Right.
game. But we got to go to the
Mhm.
next topic. But everybody go back, watch what I'm saying during that game. And I just played Dan like a pawn.
Hmm.
Let's spread the love. Dan, spread it, please.
Yeah, I want to spread the love to a guy that I just played recently, and honestly, I probably didn't even know his name. Alex, Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I taught him.
There's kind of a group that came through between like I think Alex and Steven, maybe it was T Steele at the time and CC. This guy's kind of came in with no real pop, no real personalities. We kind of gave him a little a little crap about it a few TAs ago, but hey, he's leading the NFC South right now, so he's got a chance to make some playoff games. He played really well, played solid, beat me, and did a good job. And so hats off to Alex. You got my attention. I'm going to be watching this run here you got, and I hope you make some noise and start making a name for yourself.
I play him next, so it makes me a little nervous. I forgot he beat you. I'm gonna spread my love all over the entire NFC because you guys are all really good sports. Everyone throws a lot of jabs at you. Honestly, I think multiple times a day, every day, and everybody over there is taking it really well. So that's always good to see that no one's just taking it overly personal. I am gonna shout out Fig again, not just for being in the playoff hunt, but I mean, Fig is like he's 6-9, but he is like just over the moon that he has a chance to make it, right? Gone are his first drive, I lost the game tweets. And now we just got to buckle down and one game at a time. We can do this. You know, it's good to see. I really, really, really hope that Fig makes it. He has made it before, and it was great for the SML. So get in there, Fig. On the AFC side, oh geez, I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to say Gutta. I think Gutta is just the sneakiest 11-4 team ever. When I was looking at the standings to do my top five, I didn't even know Gutta was 11-4. I knew he was having a good year. I knew he was probably going to make the playoffs. I did not know he was 11-4. He's the opposite of his brother, where if he had, you always know how QP's doing, right? Good or bad. He's very vocal, very, very loud. Me, like Dan on question 3. But he's just silent. He comes in, he talks about the things that he talks about that probably aren't for a family show. But he wins the games, man. He's going for it on fourth down more than anyone in this league. And he's aggressive. He's got an identity. We talk about Stavo and that Rams team and these bad teams. That Raiders team is and was really bad, and they have cap issues. He tried to get rid of Devontae Adams forever because he literally was draining his money. So hats off to Woods.
Yeah, it was really good.
Gutta, excuse me.
Yes. I want to spread my love to QP. We haven't talked about him in a long time, I feel like, on a show, and it seems like he's a dog that's lost his bite a little bit. I don't know if you guys have seen in chat, he says that he's last season Peyton Manning, his passes wobble, he plays with defense now, run the ball defense, no longer the offensive. For a while there, he was in kind of the race as the quote-unquote passing king. Now he's the 16th ranked passer in the SML. I don't know if we're seeing kind of a midlife transformation of QP and what this next chapter is. I just wanted to spread my love. I think he's still a formidable player. I think he's still a very competitive player in this league. And, even though he stood me up on doing SML After Dark to call out a member who may or may not have been on the show, I want to give my shout out to him. Also, Gutta and Raider Fan are both really good listeners. They take coaching well. Back-to-back wins over Dan. That was all because of me. I want to spread my love to myself. Matt, what do you got for your 5?
Yeah, sorry, Gutta, for saying Woods there. I'm still hung up on Dan making the call out an SML member topic all about him and his interests.
Yeah,
but anyways, number 5, I've got Gutta. I just talked about him. Look, man, I did not expect to be talking this much about Gutta. Again, I knew he was doing well. I did not know this guy was 11-4, and he lost 2 games in the first 3 weeks. So he is just absolutely on a tear. His only losses since then are to Bomber and QP, who are going to be on this list and haven't been mentioned yet. So yeah, the loss to Fins and the loss to CC are not that great, but Fins was, I think, 3-1 to start, and Gutta lost to him week 2. So Fins has really, really fallen off, but he started out hot. I think when I stopped a hole in him, he kind of lost his luster.
Yeah.
At number 4, I've got Bomber. Bomber's an intriguing one. Guy's 12-3. Unfortunately, the 5th seed because he's in the AFC and in Prime's division. But he would have probably locked the 1 seed up in the NFC already and been able to rest his starters. But his losses are a little bit ugly. He lost week 1 to Brawny, who, again, he's made the playoffs his entire SML career, at least for the next couple of days. And that was week 1. He lost to Doink. That's not that bad. And then he lost to Woods, who is not having a great season, but he is the defending champ. So on this list, his losses aren't the best, but man, that run of he beat Prime, he beat the 1 seed in the NFC, he beat Gutta, he beat the Bears. Actually, he beat Washington, who's the 2 seed, and the Bears, who are the 1 seed. He beat Straw, he beat me, he beat QB. So he's playing good ball, and he's definitely going to be a threat. I know you touched on that. At number 3, I've got QP, who not as quietly as 13-2, but again, hey, this is what we expect from QP, right? He hasn't had the cycle I think we expected, but he's got his team. He's got Herbert. He's got the set feet lead. 9-3 against Fins. I might need to look into that one. I might need to drop him off the list if I just saw that one. But 9-3 against Fins. But wins over Meats, wins over QB, beat Gutta, avenged the loss from earlier, smoked Stavo, swept AJ, who has the Chiefs. So big stuff from QP there. At number 2, I've got Prime. I mean, hey, you're 13-2. No matter what anybody says, you do have some really, really good wins. You beat QP, obviously. You have a chance to avenge Bomber. You just smoked Meats, wasn't even close. You beat Straw, who seems to be coming on. You beat the 2 seed in the NFC in Washington. You beat me. And so you're the only reason you're not number one is because the guy who is number one, Dan, he beat you. So you guys have the same record. Dan won the head-to-head in a close matchup. But Dan's playing really good ball. I think where a lot of people are going to struggle against Dan is his defense is really good. And if you don't know how to stop his offense or contain it, you're never going to win. Like I can compete with Dan because I can keep his offense in check, but I can't really score on him. Guys that nobody can really score on him, but if you can't keep the offense in check, you don't stand a chance. He's just absolutely flooding some of these poor kids.
That's a good list. I think it's an accurate list.
Very good list.
You know, I think Dan should be number one. I'll say that right first and foremost. He beat me, obviously. I'm the number 2 guy. One thing I will say about Dan, I'm not saying this to troll you, but I am a little concerned. This reminds me of the year the Patriots went 17-0 and they showed signs of weakness. The loss to Gutta, the loss to the Panthers guy, Alex, and then forced win against QB stud, beats Damon on a Hail Mary, and then gets a bye week against Mike. You know, let's just see how he does against Bombers. All I'm saying. I feel like he's limping and he's cooling down a little bit. That's kind of my thoughts. But good list.
Yeah, the Gutta losses. It was just a fluke of some events. Gutta played well too. Not going to take away from him. I'm not too worried about that one. The Panther one though was definitely bad. The Panther one was bad. I'll give you that one. But
no,
I'm always
hold on.
Damon close.
You can't say there was a loss as a fluke of events and say I'm not going to take anything away from him. I mean, come on, you just took it all away from him. But Matt's got to get his hair cut.
No, the fact that no, because you still have to win the game. Even when fluke of events happen, you still have to win the game, and Gutta did that. So yeah. I'm not going to take that part away from him. I'm just saying what you're saying as far as I don't think I'm playing as well.
Yeah,
that game I'm not taking much from. I am taking some from the Panthers game though. That was bad.
That was bad.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I missed a spot on my Simbardi earlier. Did I miss anything? I just got back.
There you go, guys. That's how we're gonna finish up.
You'll have plenty of time while we're in the playoffs this season.
Oh,
okay. That's low, man. Come on.
Guys, that is Matt. That is Dan. I'm Prime. We are like 36 minutes in, so no one's gonna listen to all this. See you guys around.